Hi, I'm Dino Tripodis. This is Whiskey Business. In my hands, Volume 1, Issue 1, a Playboy magazine with Marilyn Monroe on the cover. A highly coveted magazine. What's it worth? We'll talk to Adrian Burns tonight, who's an expert, and he'll tell me on Whiskey Business. Hi, everybody. I'm Dino Tripodis, and welcome to Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. And tonight, Adrian Burns from Burns Auction and Appraisal will be joining us. Yes.
Thank you.
As you heard in the opening, I have right here, Volume 1, Issue 1.
Hubba.
Playboy magazine with Marilyn Monroe, one of the most coveted magazines in the collectible world. Oh. What? And how did it come to me? By accident. Yes. Is it worth something? Yes! It's worth a lot of money if it was actually real. Come to find, this is just an excellent reproduction. Adrian will get into it a little bit more and tell me why I was so easily duped. I didn't pay anything for it. Like I said, it just came into my hands. Like a lot of things in this house. When I die, my good friend Jamie Sanfilippo said that when you die, of course I'll be sad, but as soon as you die, I'm calling American Pickers and coming over to your house and just let them go through, and I'm going to sell everything and make a fortune. Will he make a fortune?
I like how he's claiming all of it.
Yeah, he's claiming all of it.
Yeah,
he's already claimed all my unpublished writings upstairs that I think are crap, that he thinks that he can, after I die, they'll discover some sort of, genius that I just wasn't. That I didn't believe in, it's gone.
You'll be like one of those, poets of the early century where they were like, he did not become famous until well after his death.
After his death.
Yeah.
One of those.
Posthumously.
But, there's a bunch of stuff in this house.
I'm going to be stuck with the bottle of very old Barton.
I think actually in my current will, I think the whiskey's already been dispersed.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah. Right. So I actually have to have a will like that. I have to tell who gets the whiskey, who gets albums, who gets DVDs. It's crazy, but there is so much stuff in this house. And Adrian Burns from Burns Auction and Appraisal will be joining us here in just a second. Adrian, how are you, man?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
We're very excited to have you on. We're going to let Hansberry do a little bit of business, and then we're going to get into this whole world of estate sales and collectibles, and you seem to be knowledgeable about it all. I want to find out how you actually got into this crazy business, why you got into this crazy business, and then we're going to have some fun with some of these other things. I'm going to hand this back over to you so you can tell me exactly why it's worthless.
Well,
both
hands on the magazine.
While Hansberry does a little business.
Thank you for listening to Whiskey Business on your favorite podcasting app. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and rate and review us. Also, there's we've got 5 or 6 years worth of episodes, so go back through the archives and dig it out. Maybe you're getting ready to do some family road trip. Mowing the lawn. It's lawn mowing season, baby.
Sure it is.
I always like listening to podcasts while I mow. And also, this would be very helpful. Share Whiskey Business with your buddies who are whiskey enthusiasts or podcast fans. The word of mouth is huge for us. So if you hear an episode you think is kind of engaging, maybe share it with one of your friends who you know would get a kick out of it. We're also on Facebook. Well, you can follow us, like us there. We do a lot of live Facebook videos, Instagram, Twitter. All your favorite podcasting apps, whiskeybusinesspod.com, and we're going to be part of the Friends reunion on HBO Max.
Yeah, no, that's already come and gone.
No.
You just said we were on it, but we got cut out.
We got cut.
We got cut out. The one where
Whiskey Business didn't make the cut.
Didn't make the cut. That's funny. And also, we're thrilled to be joining here in the next few weeks the family at Evergreen Podcasts Network is taking us on into their bosom of podcasting.
Speaking of bosom.
Great. Yeah, speaking of bosoms, as he's got the Playboy magazine in front of him. So you'll be hearing more about our joining Evergreen in the weeks to come. Adrian Burns from Burns Auction and Appraisal. Even your name sounds like somebody that you would hire to, and the Tripodis estate will be executed by Adrian Burns. I trust no one here has any problems with that. Adrian Burns comes hardly regarded in all of this type of business, if you will.
Yeah, I like that.
It even sounds like, that's what you should have been doing.
Good, awesome.
Right?
Yeah. Thank Ken Burns for that.
What's that?
Thank Ken Burns for that.
Yeah, Ken Burns.
He did the Civil War thing, and
right?
Burns became like
any relation?
I don't think so.
You don't think
no.
so? Well,
But
Burns
history,
is-
all that kind of thing. It's got the.
But this
thing
isn't
down.
what you've always done, right?
No.
No.
I was a newspaper reporter
Really?
for a long time. Yeah.
Newspaper
yeah,
reporter, a
Yeah.
journalist.
Yeah.
Why do you chuckle
He's
when I
laughing.
say journalist?
I don't know. It was a good gig. It's similar to what I do now, and it's a treasure hunt. I'm a treasure hunter, so in journalism you look for
can see
stories
that.
and
You
you,
gotta
and you
dig.
bring them to light. You find the hidden thing and you sort of expose it.
So were you
this
an
is like that.
Were you an investigative journalist?
This is somewhat, yeah. I mean, I work for Business First. You telling stories about things that nobody knows is that people are interested in
Right.
is the name of the game. So yeah.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
did not know that about you.
So now I dig through people's houses for things they don't know they even have.
So
maybe.
as a journalist, then you obviously are a reader as well.
Yeah.
Right. Those who write, they say, have a tendency to read.
Yeah.
And
Or listen.
or listen. And we're thrilled that you're here tonight. As a matter of fact, I didn't forget the guest bottle, folks. I did not. We're currently sipping on just something. What we call our pre-moistener before the podcast. So what's
Pre-moistener.
Yeah, pre-moistener. Yeah, but what the guest bottle is tonight that we're gonna, and we thought, Adrian, it'd be appropriate to break out something old,
Perfect.
right?
Yes.
So I went into the not in common view section of my whiskeys.
Under lock and key.
Well, not necessarily under lock and key, just in another room. And this
Eyeball
is the
scan.
This is the Angels Envy Cask Strength 2014. They started putting out Cask Strength whiskeys in 2013, so this would have been the second year that they did it. These have gotten very, very popular and expensive. When this one first came out, it retailed for about $169. Now, if you find an unopened bottle and you want to buy it, it goes for about $429.
Wow.
You could probably appreciate the fact that something
Yes.
goes up in value as the years pass.
Sure.
We're going to drink it neat. I will suggest that you put try it neat at first. So it's hot. It comes in at 119.3 on the proof as far as the cask strength. It comes in hot, but you'll taste. I think you'll taste some toffee, but once you put a little bit of water in there, it might open up some of the other tasting notes, which include vanilla and caramel. It might seem a little charcoaly to you as well.
I'm excited.
So
This is Angel's Envy has become one of my favorites.
yeah,
The rye.
the bottle
Oh,
itself,
man.
Angel's Envy, just the regular Angel's Envy is great. But when they put out these cask strength, look, it looks like it died.
It's in a cask.
It looks like
Right.
it died. You can't. Those of you just listening, it's in its own little box, and it has this beautiful gray satin the spread of some sort that it's laying on.
That gets better treatment than most things in my home. Yeah.
God rest its whiskey soul. But yeah, and I'm stupid, man. I'll hang on to this box after this is gone.
Yeah.
I have so many whiskey boxes, cool boxes that whiskey have come in. Why did people do that, Adrian? Why do people save shit?
I don't know. They hate when it runs out.
Right?
Yeah.
But you come across stuff like when you do estate sales, you probably come across things and you wonder like why did people hang on to this and
Yeah.
and is
yeah.
it usually is it like the garage sale thing, like someone else's trash winds up being someone else's treasure?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, if they didn't hang on to anything, then we wouldn't have much to do. And so a great deal of what they hang on to is not worth a whole lot, but some of those things are. Whiskey boxes. I sold a lot of Chivas Regal metal tins, and things from over the years. Not sold, but maybe done away with.
I think I just hold on to them because they're cool. But when
Yeah.
I die, and that'll be a long time from now, so take it easy. But people are going to wonder, like, why did he keep this? Why did he keep this? Do you, now that I know that you've done some investigative journalism and you've also a writer, do you sometimes go into a home and try to piece together a puzzle of the person's stuff that you're selling? I mean, do you try to figure out what they might have been all about?
Yeah. I mean, you almost can't help it. At least if you're me, and usually somebody's passed away, so the family's really sad. They're grieving, and we like to operate with a level of respect for who the person was. And you're digging through everything they had, including just like their drawers, full of their clothes, and their desk drawer full of all the business cards and receipts that they thought they needed. And so you learn all about their photos, the things they loved. And if you like whiskey, keep the whiskey boxes. That's why people keep that stuff, because they like it, and that's okay.
I can see you put money in it and then hiding it, bury it in the backyard.
You could do that,
and then I could see me eventually being plagued with dementia and not remembering where I hid all those boxes and all the money. And
40 holes in the yard.
Yep, that happens.
Dino. He used to be so sharp.
I heard that we could start that rumor. I heard that he hid a bunch of money in whiskey boxes in the backyard and put everybody on a fake treasure hunt.
I saw him doing it,
and the hijinks ensued.
Hijinks ensued.
It's a mad world.
When did you start doing this? When did you start Burns Auction and Appraisal, and why?
Well, I founded the company in 2011. We went through a couple of iterations and sort of settled on our current model 2.5-3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I started out buying. I just love to buy stuff, look for deals, treasure hunt, buy the stuff, resell it. But I love buying a lot, and it would pile up, and like everybody else's stuff, I'd have 6 storage units full of stuff, and
like
no
everybody else.
Money. Right, and no money left, and then it's not much of a business. So eventually I realized that if I do it for other people, I can sell their things for them. I don't have to buy it. I don't put anything out except for my expertise, my employees, my business. And so we don't really I don't buy much of anything anymore. Everything we sell is somebody else's. So we're just experts in the marketing and the telling the story. And
but having been one of those persons who liked to buy things and collect things, how do you restrain yourself when you come into an estate of some sort and see something really cool?
Taking all the good stuff for myself.
They're not getting this.
Right.
I'm taking this.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of just like to handle it for a little while. I don't collect a whole lot. Although that's starting to change a little bit. I just like to. I'll have it in my possession for a couple weeks or a month, and I'll study it and look at it. And then I'm very fickle, just in general. And so, after a month or two, most things I'm just ready to sell them and get something else.
Do you collect and anything that you keep?
I have my old car, my 69
you like cars?
Fleetwood. Yeah.
You told me when you came in, I was complimenting the Cadillac that's out there right now, which is an older Cadillac.
Yeah, that's my daily driver. It's also older.
Yeah, it's also, but you have a 1969 Fleetwood.
Yeah.
Nice.
That I love. I can drive. I just go out and drive. Okay, I'm gonna get milk, and 3 hours later, I'm still not back. I get my daughter from school, and I can I can enjoy it while I'm.
Yeah. Oh, you pick your daughter up in the 1969 Fleetwood.
Yeah,
oh man,
cool.
The parents must think.
I've never been cool, but I am now.
Yeah. What's her dad do?
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's a bad car.
It's a bad car. He must be a bad man.
Right.
It's a bad black tinted windows.
Oh man, what color is it?
Black.
Oh.
It was one owner before me, so it was like it was an old businessman guy.
That story. That's actually true.
Yeah,
you always hear those.
Yeah.
It was owned by a little old lady who only went to church on Sundays and drove it.
Yeah.
That's what my neighbor had. When you leave, I'm hoping he's back. He did the same thing. He bought this beautiful white Cadillac. I don't know what year it is, but it was the same deal. It had like 11,000 miles on it.
Yeah. Old people buy them and they pass away.
Yeah, and he bought it, and it's his wife wasn't thrilled with it, but he loves it. And my Uncle Chris, who's always loved big old cars, he's always been a caddy and a Lincoln guy. The 69 Fleetwood, oh man, he'd be losing his shit right now.
I'll drive by sometime.
Well, he's in Steubenville, Ohio.
Oh,
yeah,
where
everybody has a 1969 Fleetwood.
Yeah, that they've continued to drive since 1969. Yeah, I don't. I like advertising stuff. I like business stuff. I just like disposable stuff, matchbooks, Zippos. I got 100 or 200 yardsticks, advertising yardsticks. I just like cheap shit that's not really worth almost anything, but that's cool.
That's
I sell expensive stuff all the time. I just want like matchbooks.
Is the advertising stuff worth anything?
It is, yeah. I mean, they want the Pegasus, mobile oil enameled sign,
Right,
or
right,
like
right,
the huge neon that says like welcome to
I
Las
took the
Vegas.
liberty. I took the liberty of snapping a few photos downstairs.
Well, hold on. Let's before we do all that, let's hear the story about the Playboy. Just wrap that up.
Wait. We'll get to the Playboy here in a
Okay,
second.
all
much
right.
to
All right. Okay. All right.
It's
It's one hell of a tease.
Advertising. We'll get there. There's a sign downstairs in my poker room for L&M cigarettes.
Yeah.
You like that kind of stuff,
Right. Yep. That's good. Yeah. People, boy, the cigarettes knew how to advertise.
right?
Them and Coca-Cola. They were the kings.
They were the kings,
Yeah.
right? And
They
that's
just knew
when
how
you
to
could
do it.
advertise cigarettes. I mean, all the cigarette jingles, all the come to where the flavor is.
That's right.
Come tomorrow.
The billboards that
Well,
had
it
the
reminds
smoke
me
that came out.
of Mad Men. When there's something going on in pop culture, like Mad Men, does that? I mean, do the prices and the value and the craving to collect those certain things like grow,
Yes.
ebb
Yeah.
and flow?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean, people are mercurial. I don't know if that's the word. Their tastes change quickly, and so things that were expensive 25 years ago are not in demand at all today. The mid-century stuff, the Mad Men stuff, is still super hot,
Super hot. There's a lot of mid-century stuff hanging around here.
and it's not super well. It's not super well made or anything. It's just like laminated wood and
It just looks cool.
glue.
It's
and-
Yeah.
the design that people like.
Right. And so that's what they want. That's what they buy.
Yeah, over the years, I mean, when I first moved into this house, now don't look out there. That's from
Oh,
Value
hey,
City.
oh.
Yeah, that's nothing. I'm saying.
We saw
I'm
that stuff,
remembering when I first moved in, I had a lot of mid-century furniture because that's where I used to get all my stuff. What would be mid-century couch and chair and all cool
Right,
stuff. That,
right.
That table's old too, and there's other tables that I have that are from mid-century that I don't even have here that are in storage. But yeah, I love that. I love that. We looked at a house one time where the whole house wasn't actually. It just happened to be all the original stuff that was
Yep.
in that house, and it was all mid-century. The appliances, the bathroom fixtures,
Wow.
everything was in perfect
Awesome.
working order.
Yeah, manor range.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
all mid-century.
Pink tile.
Pink
and-
tile in the
yeah.
bathroom, linoleum floor in the basement, which I'm sure was chock full of asbestos.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like, okay, well, what's a little asbestos?
For a great house like
look
this.
at that floor, man. That floor is immaculate.
Smoke. What's asbestos?
Yeah, exactly. But the mid-century stuff is cool.
But the sad thing is, I mean, in 20 years they'll probably be throwing that. I mean, that like the stuff that was incredible now, dollar wise, will be like, nobody wants it.
So there is a
Which is
window.
insane.
There's a window, right?
Yeah. Oh,
There's
yeah.
a window when you
Yeah.
should sell stuff and get rid of stuff.
Yeah, well, when you get the most money. But I mean, I think people generally buy the stuff to enjoy it, and then once they get old, its time has passed, and then they don't get anything for it.
Right.
Like everybody, a lot of
They're
the
dead, right?
Well, no, they're alive. Well, they may be dead, but there's just that the people. Like I sell a lot of Broyhill oak with gold knobs. That was like a big deal in 1988. And was really expensive, but that just like doesn't like brings $3 now. It's just what people want.
That's crazy.
It doesn't have any intrinsic value.
No,
It's like
no.
you can eat it.
Right.
So
And when you do an estate sale, how does that work? How do you get paid?
commission.
Commission.
Yeah.
So whatever that sells for, do you mark it? Do you price it? Do you do all the pricing, or
Buyers do the pricing by and large. Yeah, it's
Okay.
auction. Yeah. We started at $1 and off it goes.
so is it an estate sale where I just walk in and things are like a tag sale where things are tagged? Did I get
no.
the bit? You actually do the auctioneering?
Well, we come in. We like here in Dino's beautiful whiskey room here. We go through and we lot everything. So the table's a lot. Put lot 1 on that. The bar is lot 2, and we may do 50 lots in here. Take a picture of each thing.
Right.
Write descriptions, and then it runs online for a week. I have an auction going right this second.
As we speak.
Yeah, and I'm just doing something else because
Yeah.
that's what's so great about technology.
Yeah, the technology.
Yeah.
But do you actually do you do the whole auctioneer thing? Then when
Yes.
do you really?
Yes.
Like, will you?
Yeah, sure, of course, yeah.
Wait,
I mostly do it at parties.
Let's do the Playboy. Let's do the
Okay.
Let's first of all tell me about the Playboy, It is a reproduction, right?
I mean, okay, here's the thing with this. So when you get something that's really so anything that's really rare and really expensive, there's a decent chance that they're almost always faked. I mean, anything that's expensive that people want, other people will try and fake it to, rip people off. So that's a possibility with everything you come across that's good. People aren't faking, like, old dishes and stuff because, like, nobody's really that interested in them. But they are faking this kind of thing. And if this is a fake, it's a great fake. I mean, typically when these things are made legit, they'll be marked in some way as reproduction. Somewhere, even if it's just, copyright 1998 down here or something in tiny print. This doesn't bear any of those marks. So, I mean, this would be real easy to sell as the real thing. The staples might be a giveaway. A lot of times that's a great way. Look how shiny those staples are. Yeah.
Well, you got to remember who the previous owner was as well. He was very meticulous and
I do,
and very careful with a lot of things that he considered valuable and that he treasured.
I think it bears further investigation.
Does it really?
I've had clients tell me
there she is.
It's fake and it's. Excuse me for a second. Just looking at Marilyn here,
there
but they've told me something's fake and it's not fake. And somebody may have told them it was fake, and it kind of came down through the grapevine. More often than not, it really is fake. But you got to rule it out. There's little details that I'd have to look up. Like on page 27, there's an ink blot here or some kind of printing. That's not actually it, but something. There's little things that I would have to look up to be sure. But I don't see anything obvious about this that tells me that it's fake. It's so clean, one would think it is.
So Gus could be wrong.
Wow, there's.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
There's hope.
Maybe, yeah. They could be something as simple as when they made the real ones, they only used 2 staples, or the staple was completely different. Bam, it's not the real old thing.
Right.
So there's some basic things we find Louis Vuitton bags and things all the time. Yeah. And there's a number of things you need to look for. Is it real?
Oh, and
they're not obvious.
Yeah, I know. I used to be an investigator and had intellectual property cases, and I could tell you a Louis Vuitton bag or a Gucci bag or a fake Rolex without blinking an eye.
Most of it's fake.
Yeah,
most of
it's a lot fake. Of it's
There's
fake.
Millions of fake Rolexes. Millions. But I mean, in the real thing in this condition, which is good, but this crease hurts in the back. But otherwise, very good. I mean, it's probably $3 to $5 grand. Probably closer to 3.
If it was real.
Yeah.
If it was real.
Yeah, fake. Problem is, if you sell it as a fake, people will pay like $500 for it because they will absolutely resell it. They'll
try to sell it. Yeah.
So people actually do that? They try to take something fake and sell it off?
Totally.
Really?
Oh yeah. So we're pretty hesitant to sell known fakes because we just don't want to contribute to that.
Right.
It just causes everybody a lot of headaches. Not to mention the lost money that people spend.
I wouldn't purposely try to rip somebody off.
No, I know that.
I would want to know how do I find out if it's the real deal?
I'll do some looking. I'll look some things up. But if I sold this as a fake, it would probably bring $500.
Even as a fake?
Because somebody would buy it knowing that it was good enough to get somebody else to pay $1,000 for it.
Wow.
And that's there's no real easy way of telling.
I don't want to feed the criminal element.
No, it's just a shame because there's a lot of people out there that just don't know and they just want something cool.
Right.
Yeah, that's the deal with that. Okay. It looks pretty good. I mean,
I'm going to let you hang on to it, but before you do so, let's pretend that we're bidding on it right now.
Sure.
So how would you do the auctioneer call for the Playboy Volume 1, Issue 1?
Yeah, you just go, hey, all right, folks. Then this is kind of like the old-fashioned auction.
Right. That's what I want.
You get real low, like, all right, folks, we're going to start this out. Here we got a Playboy. Some people say it's a fake. It could be real. That's a lot of times how they say it. I'm not casting the auction, but it's a very good light. But this could be the real thing, folks. You be the judge. Who'll start me out at $500. How about $500 to go? Hey, buy $5 now, $550. Give me $550 now, $575 to go, $575, sir, now $600 to go to buy $6. And you just keep going like that. $1,000 now. Who'll give me $2,000?
$2,000.
Right. Oh my God. Hey, we got you at $2,000, sir. Hang on your pants. $2,500 there. Now $3,000. Yep.
Stop overbidding me.
Right. And you get to the end, and you just kind of watch people, and when they don't seem like they have any more bids in them,
it's gonna stay with
stop.
us.
Stop.
I'm up in the price.
Can you sweeten the pot?
I'll throw in a box of Kleenex here.
You had to go there. You had to.
But you can tell when people want to bid, they get this look in their eye, like
because we all just want it for the articles.
That's right.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, Marilyn Monroe.
But Playboys are in the dump. I mean, Playboys in the past 3 years have died price-wise. Now the first edition is
yeah.
it's special because it was the first one. It was such a groundbreaking thing. I've got a few Playboys in an auction right now, like 57, 58. They'll do okay because they're so early and they're mint.
Right.
But all the 70s, 80s, 90s, toast. I mean, toast. We whole boxes of them bring like $5.
Oh, I can help you get rid of those if you need.
Right, yeah.
So what is hot right now
just
in
saying,
the collectible market? If somebody has something sitting at home, what's your tip is what's hot? Like, sell it now because it's super hot and you can get good money for it.
Guns are super hot. Guns are always hot.
Yeah.
In particularly now. Coins, jewelry, gold, silver. Military is always hot. We sold a trunk from a military veteran from Vietnam last night. It was in the trash when I got there last week. Oh, wow. In the trash, and we got I think $1,900 for it last night. So it was his uniforms and all he's passed away, but his documents and some flags and.
That's great.
Vietnam is real hot.
That's cool to be able to keep that story alive too. Not to mention,
we sold his SKS rifle that he brought back to all together basically. So military's hot. The mid-century stuff, basically what your grandma and grandpa had, not so much. Modern design, that's hot. So yeah.
What about beer bottles? Those are pretty popular. Specifically, I've always heard that you're supposed to drain them. Is that a thing or not really?
Well, I mean...
What do you mean beer bottles?
Yeah.
Empty beer bottles?
They're collectibles, aren't they?
Well, they make... Most beer bottles are made by the tens of millions, if not, hundreds of millions. And so... like cans, for instance, beer cans. There are beer cans that are worth $50 or $70 or $80. There's probably some cans that are worth hundreds of dollars, but the vast majority of the cans you find were made like literally by the millions. And the old guys all had these basement bars in the 60s and the 50s, and they lined them with those cans. And
so there's a million of them out there.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
you hanging on to a bunch of beer cans, Hans?
No, well, no, I've got a like the year the Cardinals won the World Series. I've got a Budweiser with the Cardinals logo, and I realized that was only I realized that was only 8 years ago or whatever. But
sentimental value for you.
But yeah, but to say fast forward
for you, it's
50
priceless.
years
sure,
with my kid,
probably in 50 years. So like that those kind of mass produced things, you've really got to wait a while. So if you had a souvenir from the 1920 World Series,
sure,
even if they made 10,000 of them, you'd probably be in pretty good shape.
Right.
I sold a press pass, Yankees Braves. I think it was 56
cool.
or 57, and it was a little lapel pin.
Nice.
Just found it in a box of
That's kinda
stuff, just
sweet.
like in with a bunch of junk. And how many of those did they give out?
Sure.
But the stuff that's made to. So generally speaking, if something's made to be collectible, like we're giving out collectibles today at the big game,
Then
probably not going to be collectible.
interesting.
Because they were giving them out.
But
like
still
that.
important to you.
Yeah.
The
It doesn't mean it's
Cardinals still
worthless.
have more World Series than the Reds and the Pirates combined.
Yes.
For the record.
All right, for the record. Nicely said. Let's take a little break and have a little sip of our guest bottle tonight, the Angel's Envy Cask Strength 2014, before we continue on with Mr. Burns. Mr. from Burns Auction and Appraisal. I've tried to supply you, sir, with a wonderful antique whiskey
This meets my very high standards.
from 2014. It's not so much an antique, but it's obviously it took a while before they released it in 2014, and now it's some 7 years.
Ooh, that's
after.
good.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's hot at 119.3. I wanted you to try it neat first. What do you think, Hansberry?
It is hot.
You've developed quite a nose over the last few years in respects to
Ask me in a second. I gotta let it.
your whiskey.
I've been
It's
eating
got a great
sunflower
nose.
seeds at the ballpark, so my
Yeah.
tongue's just a wreck right now.
Okay.
Salt and stuff
You
in there.
drink a lot of whiskey, bourbon. What's your go-to?
My everyday my normal is I drink Maker's Mark, just as in Glenmorangie.
Oh, so you go from
I'm a Scotch
you're a
guy.
Scotch guy as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest you put just a little bit of water in there, and open up some of the other things that aren't prevalent.
Just like a dash.
Just like a little splash of water, just a little bit of water to open it. That's good. Yeah, just a little water to open it up. A little more than that, Hansberry.
Wow.
Just a little bit. There you go.
Glug, glug, glug.
Can I have a bigger glass,
And,
please?
or it could have been, I guess, a small ice cube, but a little bit of water just to open it up, and you might pick up on some other. There's a lot for me. There's a lot of toffee right out of the gate, but then afterwards, once I put in a little bit of water,
that's good.
You pick up some vanilla and a lot of fruit.
Little citrus, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fruit, the plum, banana, and then when you put a little bit of water in there, I think it brings out more of the vanilla. You're making
it's good.
You're grimacing almost.
Well, I was expecting it, like the rye tastes like candy. I know this isn't a rye. I was expecting it to be a lot sweeter, but it's good. It's cask strength. It's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. It's real hot. Real hot.
It's good.
So,
I like it.
Good. Yeah.
Chocolatey on the back end. I'm getting some chocolate.
Yeah, you can get a little chocolate on there.
Okay.
We had a 100-year-old bottle of whiskey once that came my way. We drank it. We didn't die. It was good. I don't even know what it was.
You don't know what it was?
No, I don't remember. It came from a buddy.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like once it's out of the barrel and in a bottle, it doesn't matter how it is what it is. If it sits in a bottle for 100 years, it's not going to get any better or worse. It's once it comes, it is what it is. Once it comes out of that barrel and gets bottled, that's it. I mean, if you hold on to it and say, yes, I've had it this forever,
It was just kind of an adventure,
Sure.
Didn't go blind or anything.
I mean, no, whiskey, the black or the brown market, as you referred to,
right, yeah.
is crazy, man. There's a bottle over there of Old Forester birthday bourbon that's unopened that I got for $100. That I could probably sell it tomorrow for $800.
I believe it.
But I won't. There's a bottle of 12-year Pappy Van Winkle back there. I could easily sell that for $600 right now, minimum. I won't. I'm not going to open it for you guys just right yet, but I have opened up birthday bourbons for you guys.
Right.
On special occasions.
On special occasions, I save them. I save them for the special occasions. I think we had a bottle of 10-year-old old Rip Van Winkle when we got to our 100th
That's
bottle.
right.
We opened up that.
Cool.
That cost me $80. That I probably could have sold for $400. Instead, I wasted it on these two.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing you learn in this business. I mean, it's not. Yes, there's a financial value to all these things, or not. There's an expected value. Maybe what it's worth doesn't meet expectations, or maybe it exceeds it. But that's not really everything. It's if it was, you'd sell all this stuff immediately.
Right.
So enjoy it.
Which brings me to my next question. In this past year with the pandemic and everything, and a lot of people out of work, and a lot of people, trying to find ways to make money, did you see any type of increase in people selling off their things? Not just so much in the estate sale, but saying like, I know this is worth something and I've had it for years and I really want to part with it, but I got to pay the rent. And that type of situation. Did you come across that at all in the past year?
Not too much. I mean, I think more than anything on the buyer side, it got crazy. People were we sell mostly online. People were stuck at home. They canceled the trip to Disneyland.
Right.
So they have all this money sitting around. They're not going out to dinner. They're bored. And the online auction is a thrill. Oh, I'm going to chase that. I'm going to get it. I want it. And then we didn't slow down. We got very busy.
So your business increased.
Oh God, yeah.
During the pandemic.
The buyers are just the prices went way up on everything. Because people were just bored, and people were more focused on their homes. They're sitting there looking at their four walls. So I'll buy that cool bench. I'll buy that piece of art. I'll buy that upgraded appliance that's used a little bit. And so it was bonkers. We mostly sell estates. I've done a number of COVID estates. People that have passed from COVID.
That's sad.
But our business is. Well, it's a little bit like the funeral business. It's steady, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
There's never a lack of business.
You
That's
brought
true.
up a good point, and kind of piggyback off of that. Earlier in the show, you said you're good at the marketing and the storytelling, and I think John brought this up last night. Does it help to have a story? This magazine is only worth, let's say, $500, but now that it's been on Whiskey Business and there's this great story behind it, right? Can't you ask for more?
There's a Providence going.
That might be a stretch, but
or less,
or less,
or maybe it's value.
We'll pay somebody to take it away.
The story can hurt the value.
The story can hurt.
But how does that storytelling?
I was going to pay top dollar till I found out it was on Whiskey Business.
It's been tainted.
Dino's touched that.
I'll just take it off your hands. Well, you want to generate. People don't need most of the things that we sell. We don't need a lot of what we buy. We need some basic things, and the rest is for fun. So you want to generate passion. You want to generate excitement. So if people are passionate and excited, they'll spend money. So like the Vietnam stuff we sold, it was all named to this guy, and the family was cool with and so they knew who he was and what unit he was in and when he went and where he was stationed and the things that his unit went through. And I got several calls this week. Is that his name? Is that actually the guy? Because they wanted to connect that story to the items. And that's what brings those collectors sort of the value.
It doesn't.
I guess.
It doesn't necessarily make the value go up, but
it can.
But the people
significance of it.
people covet it more because it has it connects better.
Certainly,
better.
yeah.
So
with certain things,
they're willing to pay a little bit more because
a vintage couch is a vintage couch, but
Sure.
Something that where the story of the human being, I think it can make a big difference.
What's the strangest thing you've come across when you've gone into an estate sale and you've gone around and looked at everything? Have you come across anything that kind of either caught you off guard or went what the hell?
The family didn't know about, and they're like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah,
You found this where?
Yeah, the families sometimes will come in and they need to come in and do a little tidying up before we come, and I don't know what maybe they're just tidying up. Maybe they're just disposing of God knows what. But we find a lot of dildos.
I was gonna say
we find a lot of ball. We find ball
dildos.
gags and stuff like that. And that's cool.
Really?
What the hell?
And they go and
Generally not. We usually
Okay.
just make them disappear. We don't call
make
them.
them throw them away.
They're not the
Think
biggest
We don't make
sellers,
them disappear per se, but we don't. We think of ourselds a little bit like doctors. It's just like, look, I don't know who has what, and I don't really care.
But when you find the dildo or when you find the ball gags, what do you say anything to the
comedy
client?
gold right
Do you
no, I usually chase one of my employees with that. No, we don't because they're just embarrassed. It was their mom. It's usually a mom, like an 80-year-old woman, and they're just, which is cool, but they don't want to hear about it.
I don't want to be reminded of those
Well, they
nights.
just, who wants to hear about that, And so it's private, it's private, because we've got to look through everything a lot of the time. So
it was the 70s and we were being experimental.
yeah, who knows? Real old guy. We find the Viagra, and it's just like, what was going on? He's like 90, and you can have a good time when you're 90, but it's like, we thought Grandpa was,
Just Grandpa,
lonely,
Grandpa,
was in with his hearing aids under him. Because we're looking for stuff that they stash too. They don't tell people where they stash stuff when they die, like some gold coins or something. So we got to look. But we're just discreet. You don't want to get carried away with that stuff.
Okay,
At least not with the customer.
so I'm not letting this go. So you're being discreet with the dildo and the ball gags.
Yeah.
And does the family say, can I ask you a question, Adrian? Yeah. Did you not come across any old dildos or ball gags?
They've never asked. If they did, I would just be like, good, because I keep them with me the whole time. In case
my sister having a
there was one ball
feud
gag
over
in
it.
particular that meant a lot to me. And I was hoping that maybe we could hold on to that one for sentimental
It
reasons.
had my grandfather's initials on the outside of the ball gag.
Right.
We wanted
gold
to put
foil.
it in the shadow box.
Right. We don't. I think that a lot of people come in
God.
and kind of just look for stuff that they might find embarrassing,
Right.
And kind of just a quick sweep to sort of get rid, because they would, imagine your mom or whatever.
Right.
But we work for attorneys too, and they just give us a key, and it's more sad. There was a house where the lady died, and they just left everything the way it was, and there was she made brownies and ate one, and died, and
Yeah.
glasses were on the chair, and the book was on the other side, and the slippers, and he must have got up to go to the bathroom or something. And so that can be strange, but it's just sad, just older people or younger people. We've had victims of, somebody who was murdered. We sold her stuff. She was like 40. So I don't want to bring the conversation down, but
No, I find that fascinating.
There's all sorts of.
So sometimes, so that estate sale was a murder house.
Yeah, she wasn't murdered there. You kidnapped her and they crashed the car. Yeah, no,
the
we
value
don't
of
do
everything
that.
just went
never
down.
mind.
We don't do a lot of that. Because those places are usually just, if there's a violent crime, I think the stuff is just gathered up and disposed of just for like health reasons.
Sure.
We just see a lot of mouse poop. A lot of older people get pets, and the pets go downstairs into the basement or upstairs, and the older person can't get to those places for like 15 years.
Right.
So just imagine not changing a litter box for 20 years. I mean, so it's that the pet's a comfort to the person, but it's also like ruining everything down there and making it like a health hazard. So there's some of that goes on.
So you got to sometimes. So you're telling me some of these houses you go into, you have to almost like in a hazmat fashion.
Yeah. We clean houses too. So once we sell everything, we clean everything out down to broom clean, so they can sell the house. That's why we get a lot of the business we do, because they just tell us to go, and when we're done,
God, that's going to be a relief off of their
Oh
plates.
God,
for sure.
Yeah. We just take care of it, but it can be pretty gross.
That's nice.
But I mean, that's why they're paying us.
How big is your team?
I got 9 people that work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're busy. We'll do over 100 auctions this year, I think. That's the pace we're on. I have 16 in June, or 15.
In June alone.
Yeah.
And these will be online auctions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We don't do too many live auctions anymore.
No, so everything just boom.
Were you doing live before COVID, or was it just always online?
Yeah, I mean, I do the odd live auction. I did a live auction of a drag racing shop a couple weeks ago, and I strongly recommended against it. I said, you do it online, the prices are higher. Mm-hmm. But once we had it, I realized why they wanted it. It was like a reunion. All the old racing buddies came and just kind of drank beer and hung out. But we don't do many of them. People don't really want to go and stand around all day in the sun for one thing.
They like to stay home and click and chase and pursue.
And they get carried away.
Online.
And they drink and stuff.
See, now I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
Oh, you can get the kind of stuff you like. I mean, you can just go crazy.
I know. That's
you should.
I know. It's just like, I like to gamble. And when COVID hit, there was no casino. There was no keno. And I'm like, I was fine, as much as I love to gamble. I didn't start. God forbid, I didn't go online and look for places to do that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here now.
Dino, you'd be a great customer of ours.
I would be a great
because
customer.
Because it is fun.
I would be a
and
good
you get
customer.
Cool stuff.
I got cool stuff.
And it has value, and you can stash it away.
And I'm trying to think. It's at my age, do I need to get more cool stuff?
Yes.
I got enough cool stuff as it is.
You can never have enough cool stuff.
But now I'm curious about. Now I'm getting to the age where I'm looking at the cool stuff that I have, and like, it's time to get rid of it. It's time to go. Let me see what I can sell it for. And the boys have actually brought a few items for you to look at as well.
Okay.
If you could do that and kind of give your professional eye to them.
I think John should go first.
John's
got the most bizarre thing.
Weirdest thing, right?
Yeah, John. I thought John brought something.
Oh God, the ashes.
Yeah, I thought they were actually ashes of somebody dead.
So these are actually ashes samples from Mount St. Helens from the day of the eruption. The darker, the lighter ones were actually west of Mount St. Helens. The darker ones were actually further east.
Okay.
I guess that's where
Does
the
that
heavier.
matter?
I'll describe this for the listeners
say,
at home.
Those who aren't watching on video.
We got these vials, like you'd see like in an old time pharmacy.
They're marked underneath where they were found, where they're sampled.
They're marked on the bottom, and they're full of dust.
Yeah.
And so, this does look like some type of pumice or pumice like type ash, but this kind of thing, so really super cool does not always
stuff,
equal really valuable.
Yeah.
Sadly.
What do you have? Is that part of it?
No, there's something else.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because
it's a press pass.
One item per customer.
Yeah,
No,
right.
I'm kidding.
Because right away, I think it would be cooler if it had like this big packaging with a picture of the volcano or something. Type
but
of
instead
thing.
it's in a Ziploc sandwich.
Yeah, that's a good point because presentation is everything. I've got a client yesterday. She told me I've got a brick from Forbes Field where somebody Mazeroski hit some kind of home run.
Sure.
Some kind of baseball. I'm not really into baseball, but it's just a brick. And she's like, "What am I going to do with it?" I'm like, "You need to put it in a shadow box with a picture of him hitting the home run behind it."
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's cool.
Yeah.
It tells that
the
story.
Yeah.
Just some bottles of ash. It's like,
well,
if it's like, I'm not trying to. It's just I always tell my clients, I'm like, this is nothing against you personally.
No, I just.
But I'm going to now tell you.
Your bottle of dust.
That's right. So a couple things. It's neat, but Mount St. Helens emitted literally a billion tons of this stuff. So
but who had the smarts to put them in a vial?
Well,
color coded.
So and the other thing is and I could go just down
then into a Ziploc
sandwich
bag.
That was me.
Where were these before they were in a Ziploc bag?
They were just on a shelf at my mom's house when we cleared it out after she died.
So
What's
why?
the story? Yeah.
So, okay.
Why do we
Someone's
have them?
ashes?
Why,
All right,
why-
I've
why-
talked about my dad before, and he was kind of the weatherman science guy, and he had a friend in Washington State, and he sent him the vials of ash from Mount St. Helens. That's all I can say.
Cool.
That's the story.
Cool, but
That's
not
cooler.
valuable. Because there's tons of this stuff out there. People really aren't into this kind of thing.
No, unless
it's
you're weird.
neat. They're probably like $5, and also I could like fill those up at the beach and write that on the bottom and then start selling them. And so-
Again, fraud comes into play.
no, it's just I hate to be that person, but like when we go talk,
no,
to
we
people,
want you to be that
We have to
person.
be honest.
You gotta be honest.
and
true.
it sucks because like half the stuff is just
What's he got there? What's the other item?
First mission of this space is like an old school employee name badge, the plastic cover
It's a
over
press.
the badge.
It's
press
what the
pass.
press people. Yeah.
NASA News Media, Gil Whitney, Miami Valley.
This is awesome.
Is that your dad's?
Yeah. He was actually at the launch, and these are the passes they gave to the press.
Oh, that's
Oh, cool.
cool.
Yeah,
U.S. government property.
Yeah.
And you
So
could,
he stole it
Not
from.
for
the
research.
you could
town.
use this to get on the site if we
guess.
did anything anymore. But it has a little bit of value. But if you could get other things from him, like some other cool stuff he might have picked up along the way. But if just this, it's neat. But it's
I got a shit ton of stuff from him.
Oh, that's interesting. Kind of package it all together so you have this whole...
Like a whole NASA package.
Yeah.
yeah. I've got a client. Her.
But but that's something of sentimental value. You're never going
Right.
to part with that.
Oh fuck no, that's mine
Yeah.
forever.
yeah.
And the financial value does not equal sentimental value.
And
Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. But
I just think it's
You know.
interesting. That's all.
it
I
is
think it's
interesting.
fascinating.
Yes,
Actually, it's very cool. When you told me about it, I'm like, okay. But when I see it, it's like that's kind of cool.
There's actually some footage of the first launch of a wide shot of the press area, and you can see my dad jumping up and down,
That's
putting his
cool.
fist in the air.
That's pretty cool.
Because he was just so overwhelmed with
Yeah, he just
awesomeness.
happened to be there,
Cool.
obviously, and there's a camera guy nearby, and he was there.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
So yes, it's
Put
great.
put
but,
that film on a loop with
Right.
that little...
My sister just thinks it's not him, but I recognize that head. Shape of that head, I recognize it.
all day long, every day, I tell people what just things are worth because I want to prepare them their expectations because they come at me with coming from one place and it's attached to their love of the person and all this stuff gets mixed up in this jumble and they're grieving, and so it's better to kind of jump out there quick with sort of what the reality is of what it's going to bring at the auction.
yeah.
And then, let it.
Don't string them along.
Yeah, I hate doing it,
And
but-
do you sometimes go to another level? Let me give you an example. When my father passed away, he collected stamps for years and
Yeah.
years and years, and I always found it curious because my father wasn't the type of person that would do something like that unless there was a reason.
Yeah.
So when he passed away, I grabbed up all the stamps, and they've been sitting upstairs literally for the last 10 years. And in the back of my mind, I'm wondering, is there in that mix? Because he was 82
upside down
when he
airplane
died.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Is-
Inverted Jenny.
Yeah, right. The inverted Jenny. Is there an inverted Jenny up there? I don't know.
Maybe.
Is there a George Washington 1-cent stamp? There's another one that's of stupid and
Sure.
incredible value.
1787 or something.
Yeah, something that he came across in his travels and in his bartering and exchanging and buying.
Could be.
Is it up there? So do you sometimes, recommend, well, I think you should take this to so-and-so, like somebody who's more of a specialist and an expert in a certain area? Like if I had my stamps, would you recommend somebody to take your stamps to this guy and he'll go through them and he's trustworthy?
No, because that guy doesn't really exist anymore for stamps, unfortunately. Like the
philatelist
is going to kill me. Because the stamps, like model trains, were a big ass deal, and like for people that were born in 1920. So, and there were whole companies that just sent envelopes of stamps to young kids, and they would put them all in the books. And so, what we generally do when we sell those stamp collections is we take like 700 photos. I'll just take a photo of like every page in the album, and then the crazy stamp guys that collect will just look through all those pictures for the inverted Jenny. 9 times out of 10, or maybe 999 times out of 1,000, the stamps are hardly worth a darn. They just have that market. I mean, when's the last time you met a stamp collector?
I'm not one, other than the fact that I have
Just because you have them.
bags and books upstairs.
We
for
go
that.
through them. I mean, we
That's
just
it.
got stamps tonight in an auction because that generation, a lot of those people collected stamps. It was like a thing.
So I should just go through them all and just look for the inverted Jenny, and that's it.
Or have someone do it.
Is that something, a case where in 20 years, people, when we don't even have the post office anymore, like stamps, they'll be like, "Whoa, stamps!" And then they'll go through the roof of value.
Maybe, yeah. We get like $70-$80 out of a good album.
Nostra Hansberry. In 20 years, when we no longer have a post office.
In the year 2022.
Right. Yeah, things go up, things go down. But the stamps we get $60-$70 for an album usually, like a book. So it's not that they don't have any value. We've sold tens of thousands of stamps.
and I casually looked up to see what are the top 10 most valuable stamps.
Right, that's a good way to start.
And, so I said, let me just look for these if I ever take the time, because there are literally thousands of stamps.
Yes, yeah, it's mind-numbingly tedious stealing those stamps.
And like,
there's people who love that. And God bless them.
Some people.
It's not me.
Yeah.
We go through them.
But then there's the other part of me. It's like, am I sitting on $1 million stamp for the last 15 years?
Right, it's just up there.
It's just sitting up there, and then
Jamie-
when I
Jamie
die, and Jamie
Sanfilippo's gonna find
Sanfilippo
it.
clears out my house, he finds the inverted Jenny.
There are very few good stamps. I mean, 1 in a million.
All right,
1 in a
I
million.
brought,
but it's possible.
It is possible. Yeah.
right.
It's always possible.
This is kind of for the bigger conversation because I don't really see any value. These are 2 in-box Ninja Turtles. With the original KB Toy Store price tag on them.
Marked down.
KB Toys. Yeah.
Marked down.
Marked down.
Marked down. What were they marked down?
Take a gander.
Yeah, this one was $5.99. Marked down for 3 for $10.
3 for $10.
Hey, his wacky weapon is Psy.
Yeah, sigh. And I actually remember this was probably like one of the first times I was able to go to the mall like by myself with my buddies. So probably middle school.
And you kept it in the box?
And I had outgrown Ninja Turtles because I played with these when I was in like kindergarten, and I saw these.
They're getting ready to reboot them again.
And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" So I bought them, and I literally have kept them in their package, and I used to hang them up on my
they're
shelf.
rebooting the franchise, the Ninja Turtle franchise.
Then they're going to be worth it.
So you should hang on to them.
So toys, what's really come up. What's gone down is like things like stamps and that kind. I'm sorry, I hate to say it.
Except for the inverted Jenny.
Right, yeah, that stuff's crazy. But what's come up a lot is 80s.
Toys.
80s cars,
man.
80s toys,
Yeah.
80s everything. Because people from the 80s are buying shit now. They're making good money in their jobs and they want stuff from their childhood. They don't give a crap about the 50s.
Right.
I mean,
No, that's actually
People are
why
like
I
Elvis
still
who?
have these.
Right. But so these aren't bad. These might be $20 a pop because unopened toys are hard to find because kids open toys.
Sure, I play with
they're
them.
late turtles though. They're 1998. So I sold some.
I was gonna say 98 or 96, something like that.
And you go right to the copyright, see when they
late
came
turtles.
out. 89.
Turtles.
Yeah, 98. Oh, 89, 99. This one is, yeah.
I sold the series of the first Turtles comics, which came out in like 1986, and they didn't make very many of them.
What'd that go for?
Hundreds.
Hundreds of dollars?
Yeah.
'Cause I just sold, not just sold, someone asked me if I still had my Hulk 181, and where it's the first appearance of Wolverine.
Yeah.
And it's supposedly in mint condition. It goes for like $12,000 comic book. I sold it like 9 years ago for not $12,000. Now, granted, it wasn't in mint condition. It was kind of ragged and torn, but I think I still sold it for like $800.
That's probably
Nice.
pretty good, in that condition.
And ball cards, I think, are taking a big jump too, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
What is?
Baseball card.
Baseball
Well,
cards.
all cards in general, but
We were talking about that last night. We were when we were taking photos for the Evergreen podcast. We were talking about what are we going to talk about tomorrow night with Adrian and about baseball cards. And I mentioned my golf stars.
yes, yeah.
Golf cards, huh?
Golf cards. Yes,
Yeah, sold 'em.
You've
I've sold some.
You've sold them.
Yeah.
They actually people buy them.
Not for very much, but they do buy them.
How
yeah.
much?
A few bucks for like a pile.
Yeah.
People ask me if things sell. Yeah,
That's
they
a
sell.
shot at
It's how much
coaches.
is the question.
Yeah. And,
Right.
I got a fuzzy Zeller that might be worth some.
Condition is so crazy with baseball cards and comics and things. You can go. So it's 1 through 10 usually. Mm-hmm. Like a 2 might be 800. A 7 might be 2,000. An 8 might be 20,000. A 9 would be 60,000, and a 10
Wow.
would be $1 million. Like it
grades.
curves up like this with baseball cards and things. So there's a lot of 1s and 2s and 3s. But when you get into the rare era, the 8s, 9s, and
Right.
10s, it's like it jumps. It doesn't double. It goes like
It goes crazy.
100 times.
And
more.
Why?
Because they're so rare.
And why?
To find this authentic in this condition, which is probably a 6. This crease hurts, but a 10 is just like a 10 is like
brought
no
up
one
that
touched
crease.
it.
The
couple
crease,
times.
you got me upset about a crease.
I know,
on
I know.
on what might be a reproduction.
People just get pissed off at me all day long. Well, creases they hurt, but a 10 is like unbelievable. In fact, 10 baseball cards that are a 10, and Gus can talk to you about this, but that are it's not even just condition. It's like how it was stamped at the factory. Is it centered in the square?
Right.
Which you could get it and never even breathe on it, and it's still not a 10. Was it? And same with stamps. Is the perforation? I mean, so it's like insane.
So you're saying that my inverted Jenny could be downgraded because of its condition?
Sure, especially if you've got a crease in it or something, you could be screwed.
It still wouldn't be worth that.
No, it would.
It would be worth something. It wouldn't be worth.
It'd be worth a lot. Probably that.
Still,
but yeah.
Yeah. I see.
All right, my next item. This is a autographed Conan the Barbarian original soundtrack recording vinyl. Autographed by Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
Were you there when he signed
Arnold
it?
Schwarzenegger?
Right. What's
So-
that? Yeah, say that again.
So,
Were you there when he signed
so
it?
here's my story. I might have shared it on the show before, but Arnold always comes to Columbus for the Arnold Classic. It's a big festival thing we have here, but he always goes to Schmidt's, where my brother-in-law works. He always goes there to eat lunch. So I got a call one day, and Matt was like, hey, Schwarzenegger's coming.
Oh, boy.
So we go to lunch, and I bring my record. So I'm waiting out
sure
front
he
for
was
him
thrilled.
to come. Yeah, and he gets out of the car, and he's like right in front of me. We're like 2 feet away from each other. I go, Governor, can you sign my record? And he looks at me, and he goes, absolutely. And then he doesn't even make eye contact. He just keeps walking right by me. So I guess that's
What a
his
douche.
goof. Is he never says no, but then he never does it. But then my brother-in-law who like works there and was like serving him and stuff, he got it signed for me, and I got a picture of him signing it.
Nice.
I have some terrible news for you, though.
What's that?
There's a stamp on this record. It says
For promotion.
ownership reserved by MCA Records. Sale is unlawful. we don't care about that. But
That's promotional records.
something like this, you might get 100, $75, $100. I'd have to
take
look.
it.
I would write down, write your little, when you get a free moment, just type it up and sign it and
tape it to the
behind
back.
it.
Tell the
So
story.
when your kids are older, it'll be with it because that does mean something to the collector.
Sure. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
otherwise it's just like I signed it.
Sure. Right.
You know,
Right.
'cause people sign stuff all the time.
Well, that's what I was going to kind of the bigger
Are you telling me
conversation
people
about
fake
autographs.
sign shit too?
Oh God, yes.
Come on!
Just get out a pen and just go to town.
the time.
And there's just people who are really good at it. Swindle people for lots of money.
You see those books over there?
It's cool. Yeah, that's
Thanks,
cool.
man.
Is there a record in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
See those
Yeah.
books over there, Mr. Former Journalist? Mm-hmm. Those are all first editions. Some
Okay.
of them are more valuable than others, but they're all and a lot of them are signed by
Good.
the
Yeah,
authors.
that's good.
Real author, the real signatures.
Yep.
At least now I'm debating.
Probably.
Yeah, how do you tell? Can you?
Well, there are people who certify those things.
Yeah, they are.
And they
dude.
study the
I
signatures.
had the same person that the seller of the comic books who took the comic books and sold them for me also took a Mickey Spillane book that I had that was signed by Mickey Spillane. It was a personal inscription to
Okay,
whoever
yeah.
he was signing it to.
Right,
and it's
right.
Mickey Spillane. The book was in bad condition, but the signature, he said he authenticated the signature. He had somebody authenticate the signature. And
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
He goes, but you're not going to get much for it. If the book was in better condition, you probably get some decent money. Right now it's worth about $50. And he goes, you want me to sell it? And I go, no, just send it back to me. I'll just keep it. 'Cause
Right, yeah,
I'm
I mean-
I'm a mystery buff and I love mysteries, and I had a book signed by Mickey Spillane. Not to me, but his signature was in there.
So signatures, any signature depends on a bunch of factors. So, people who live long lives and maybe fell on harder times, like the sci-fi folks that go to every damn convention and sign 87 million things.
Right.
Their signatures aren't worth that much because they go everywhere. But somebody who got killed when they were 20, a famous baseball player, or somebody who played 2 great years and then died in a tragic accident, those signatures are worth a fortune because they're gone. They had 2
James
years.
Dean, somebody
James
like that.
Dean,
Yeah,
Steve
yeah,
McQueen.
yeah. Right.
Think about notable athletes or whoever. And authors go to book signings and people line up as far as you can see and they sign the book. So more signatures, less value. So,
But there's
depends.
like a copy of To Kill a Mockingbird in there, and
Good, yeah.
and it's signed by Harper Lee, but it's not in a first edition To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
like an anniversary edition, but she would come out
yeah.
periodically and sign these books, and now she's passed away. But
Right,
but I'm saying,
right.
but To Kill a Mockingbird
That's a good thing
is one of the
for
most
value.
iconic novels of all time.
Yep, yeah.
And even though this is an updated copy of the book, it's still signed by her. So,
Right, yeah.
So there's some value to
There
that.
is, yeah, absolutely.
There's some value to that,
And I say it
Hunter
100
S.
times
Thompson.
a day.
I've got the
good.
Rum Diaries
Yeah.
signed by Hunter S. Thompson.
That's cool. I never
I
saw
got Mario Puzo, Godfather, signed by him.
Hunter Thompson was pretty reclusive, for at the end there, and so he wasn't signing a lot of stuff.
I've got a Mario Lopez autograph.
Okay, Mario Lopez, yeah, not as valuable, but perhaps more exciting in some ways. It's just the devil's in the details with all of it. It
Right.
just comes down to the tiniest little things, really, because the collectors are bonkers. I mean, they're just. The people who are going to pay the crazy money ultimately is a collector. You may be like a casual person with a casual interest. I have this book. It's signed. It's cool.
Yeah.
The person who's going to go crazy is going to be someone whose like entire house is, decorated with that person or that idea or whatever.
You have a Kurt Vonnegut signed? Yes, I have a signed Kurt Vonnegut. I love everything Vonnegut. I must have it.
Right. I have to have it all. And
Right.
So, and I only want the best. And
So
that
I got
sort
to
of
find
thing.
that person. I got to find the crazy people.
And that's what we do. We sort of find the crazy people.
Oh, okay, good. Well,
Yeah. So bring it all back.
Bring it all. To bring it all.
We
back.
try to. I mean, some things there's just no crazy people. Like people just don't want it.
Don't.
Some things
Mount
there's
St.
lots-
Helens ashes. Yeah.
Yeah, you see, that's.
I'm sorry. People always
no,
look at it like I'm
no,
some kind of
man. I was
asshole.
gonna
It's
comment
just the
on
way
that.
it is, you know?
I
saw that look in your eyes.
find Johnny's story fascinating.
Oh, it's very fascinating.
This eruption of this.
I
this
know
this,
that it's
this,
not worth shit.
This momentous
Right, but not worth
eruption
shit.
of Mount St. Helens, and somebody took the time to put the ashes in vials. I find the whole story fascinating, and his Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, you can
are
care
worth
less.
$25 more.
That's right. Yeah, that's gonna be the name of my book. Fascinating, but it's not worth shit. And I really try and especially when someone's lost a loved one. Is your dad still around?
No.
Okay, so I mean, the things that were his is
It was almost 40 years ago. Don't worry about it.
no, but I mean the things that you have of his, in addition to your memories, are all that's left. Of him, and so it's there's more meaning there to you.
Right.
And for me to take a shit on it is just not pleasant.
No, it's
I'll take
fine.
a shit on
He
it.
wasn't taking
My
it.
wife is like going, how can you even prove that it's real? I'm like going, I don't give a shit. I know it's real.
Yeah,
right.
I guess that's part of it if you believe it. And,
we try and be very careful just to sort of tell people that this is just what the financial value is. It doesn't take away from anything else about it, who he was.
No,
or any
I
of
would
that
say
stuff.
that
But it's hard.
in
It's
some
hard.
cases, sentimental value is worth far more than
Absolutely.
than the financial. I mean, I'm just looking at stuff around here. Like even in this room, like when Tommy Hearns recently passed away. The famous boxer, and I'm like, oh man, I got his boxing gloves that I bought at an auction, and at that auction he signed them.
Yeah,
He was there. He was one of the guests that were there, and he signed them. So I got the Tommy Hitman Hearns boxing gloves. I'm sure some crazed boxing person would love to have those and would pay top dollar for
Right,
it.
right.
That's something I could probably part with.
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. Let me know.
I'm letting you know right now.
Yeah.
I'm letting you know. If you find a boxing nut that wants Tommy Hitman Hearns boxing gloves that were signed by him,
Boxing is good. I mean, boxing has remained very popular for a very long time. Other things have come up and down, but I mean, I think generally it's a mistake to get too hung up on value like financial value. Just enjoy the things because the stuff goes up, it goes down. You can be disappointed. If you want just value, go buy some stocks or some gold bullion or something.
That's the thing is that
Just enjoy it.
Just because it's online on eBay for $500 doesn't mean anybody's going to buy it.
That's
too.
true.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind
Tell
of
me
the
about
thing
it, yeah.
too. So, and I guess it's probably easier nowadays, but it's a pain in the ass to sell stuff. You got to have an account and haggle and mail stuff, and I don't know.
It
that's what
is.
he does.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
he's for.
I take care of all that
He
stuff.
does that.
But it's price is complicated. If you have forever to wait for that person who's insane and will pay anything for those boxing gloves, that person is out there somewhere and will pay like some ungodly amount. But you might have to wait years to get it. Most of the people we deal with are just like, hey, Dad passed away. We need to sell the house. We need this stuff gone in a month. And can you get as much as possible for it in that time frame? And that's, and then someone buys it who has a store, like say just they sell sports memorabilia, and they'll wait 7 years for the right person to come along and pay a big price for it. And that's how the marketplace works.
Patience.
Yeah, if you have the time
You have the time and the patience.
and the desire to screw with it,
Yeah.
then
I probably
by
had
all
more
means.
time and patience when I was in my 40s. Now,
Most people don't have any of those
No,
things.
I
They just
don't-
want to let it rip.
Yeah, just take it.
Let it rip.
And the rarer the thing is, the closer it'll come to the high. We sold a BMW M5 in '88, which they imported like 1,200 of them. That was like the first super sedan, and we got $35,000 for it. And it's a 4-door, but that's what's hot now, and they're just hard to find. And so whether it's an auction or a classic car lot, the price is going to be about the same because you're just not going to find another
And an
one.
'83 Honda Matic motorcycle?
$500 if the transmission's screwed up.
It's not screwed up.
You said the clutch is out.
No, there's no clutch. That's
that's
what-
right.
That's
That's why
the
it's a
beauty of the Honda
Honda
Matic.
Oh,
There's no. It just
Yeah.
needs. It just needs tuned up.
oh.
And the spark plugs changed.
Does it run?
It did. It's not running right now.
They
Battery's
all
dead.
ran.
No, the battery's dead. And the spark
Okay.
plugs need. I mean, it just needs tuned up, and it'll run.
So my advice when we sell vehicles, especially classic vehicles, if we can easily make them run, like if you can get it running is real important. If it just goes and then it starts, that adds a lot of value because that's a big deal.
I
when
can
it
get it to
runs.
go jigga jigga jigga.
Yeah, right. So if you can do that, you're in good shape.
Dino's middle name is Dino
Right.
Jigga Jigga
Dino
Jigga.
Jigga Jigga Tripodis.
Right. But if we sell something and it's like does not run, then the buyer. I was talking to a lady today. Dad had a 76. He's dead, but Dad had a 76 Grand Prix. Decent, the mid 70s are not the glory years of American, muscle or anything.
Right.
But it's a cool car. It's big and kind of sporty. Grand Prix are always really big,
Right.
but it doesn't start. And that's a problem because then it opens up in the buyer's mind. It opens up all these possibilities about what it could be. It could be something really serious, like a cracked block, or it could be something really simple, like a solenoid. But they'll assume the worst typically. So when you're selling something motorized, if you can just get it to run,
So
it's
get
worth
the
your
bike
time.
before I sell the bike. Get it running.
Yeah, it doesn't have to run great. You don't even have to drive it.
You
If it
can
just
take
starts,
it to
you're
the
good.
mechanic, spend $100 and
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah, just get it to start, because then it okay. If you're gonna buy something, hey, it starts. Okay, it basically functions. The rest is kind of minimal. So
Yeah, and it's and I always thought, okay, it's kind of unique because a motorcycle with no clutch, and they had their popularity back in the day, but they're not. That's not the case now. And so
running, I looked them up because you mentioned it
Yeah, I
in
did.
your email. I mean, I think that like fair, which is probably how most of them are found in garages and things. $800, and then like mint, like in the museum, the motorcycle museum, $3,000 maybe,
Yeah.
$3,500. So running and clean, and we wash the old cars we find in garages. We sold those BMWs. We washed them, just make them pretty. It helps.
yeah, sure.
I just sold a car with no keys, and I got great money for it. But
So
no
car with
keys.
no keys.
Yeah, that we couldn't find the key, and the job needed to get done because of a bunch of different things. And
So
Started
what do
with
they
the
do?
dildos.
What do they? Yeah.
we tried to put a dildo in the ignition, and the car made this weird noise and shook, but nothing actually happened. No,
It was the hood ornament.
I've sold lots of cars with no keys. Foreclosure, they have 3 or 4 cars sitting in the grass around the house.
And then what did they just find keys, make keys? What do they?
I don't know what they do.
You don't.
I don't care.
You don't care.
They pay $300-400 scrap at least. This was a '97 Lincoln Continental, which is starting to become a little more collectible. It's not as good as like a Caprice Classic or something, but we got $2,600, which is above Blue Book. But we had a great
Found a key.
Carfax. The lady had it fixed every like 3 months at the dealership.
I've
So
always wanted to get my first car back. I wanted to
What was
get
that?
a '68 Pontiac Catalina.
ooh, that's a nice car, big but sporty.
Yeah, no, I don't know
Yeah.
about sporty, but it was big.
Well, they're all kind of sporty,
It
like
was
the
big.
way
It
they
was
2 doors.
4-door.
Oh, never mind.
It was a 4-door.
yeah. Well, they're out there.
Huh?
They're out there.
They're out there. I know they're out there. It was
Yeah.
it was my high school car. It was the brown bomber. Man, that's what we drove around.
Trade
in.
your stamps for one.
Yeah, trade my stamps. Had an 8-track player in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
80s cars are where it's at now, particularly European cars.
Seriously, 80s
Yeah,
cars.
Yeah. Fox body Mustangs, like European, BMWs, Lotus, all that stuff is just crazy.
How many cars do you have?
Me?
Yeah.
Personally? Not very many. I have a
Not very many means more than one.
well, I have my 2010 DTS, which I'm
Yeah.
going to replace because somebody backed into me. I have my 69 Cadillac. I have my Ford or my Chevy Silverado. It's
Alright.
a 2000. It's just beat to holy hell. We just haul stuff in it, and that's it. I got my eye on a couple other
Okay.
real special.
But you got
cars.
your eye on something. What's your dream car?
Well, I have the big Fleetwood now, which is just like it's like the biggest one. It's the 70 was bigger, but the 70 was the biggest production car ever made. So 69 is close enough. So I'd like to have a Porsche 911, and they've become incredibly expensive, the old ones, or like a Lotus or something European and tiny and crazy. Because I got the huge car, like a Detroit Mustang.
Yeah, you got the beast.
Right. So something
Now
small.
you want the beauty.
Yeah, not an MG, too common. Something a little more rare. And I'm tracking down a couple leads on a few things. So
Cool.
I tend to come across opportunities. But
Yeah.
cars are hot. People just the car market's insane.
Cars have always been hot, though, right?
Yeah, but boy, the pandemic. I mean, people. I don't know. It's in overdrive. I mean, classic cars are just out of this world now,
It's crazy.
which is good.
Yeah,
because
for
we
you.
sell
Good
them
for
and-
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're out there. They're out there.
All right, gentlemen. Any other questions about any other collectibles or anything?
I had one question that didn't get asked. What was your biggest get? Your biggest profit?
Profit.
The
don't like to talk
biggest
about
item
profit.
you've ever sold?
I mean, these past couple of cars I've sold are probably it. I mean, that there are a lot of auction businesses that sell only very high-end things, and that's a very competitive space to play in. Stuff that's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. And I get why auction people seek that sort of thing, because
Right.
more you make more money. But our business is kind of geared towards kind of the more everyday people, and it's been very good for us. But I think the cars probably. And we sold a pencil sharpener for $10,000.
Why?
Which is it was just a huge. It was made in Cincinnati in like 1900. It was like this giant cylinder. It was maybe a foot across. And it had like of course, a tiny little hole for the pencil you insert,
Right.
and you turn this humongous crank.
Right.
It was just
That's awesome.
it was so ridiculous. And a couple of, from what I understand, a couple of like hedge fund manager guys that collect mechanical items. To them, $10,000 is, if you're making $40 million a year, or even $1 million a year,
you'll
or a couple
pay.
hundred. I mean, $10,000 is nothing. And it's competitive. These guys like to kind of compete and get things, so they bid it up.
Off, yeah.
And it was a world record.
And I collect old typewriters. I mean, that's one there. There's
Yeah.
one down there. There's another dozen or so upstairs.
I have some for you.
So
Yeah.
old typewriters.
I have an Olivetti, which is like a red one in the plastic case, which is like, it'll be a lot.
Yeah.
It's in one of my sales now. But the typewriter was cool. It's always, I mean, it's basic stuff. Cars, like that BMW. And I
Yeah,
saw
but
66
I
Lincoln.
got all these typewriters. I love my typewriters. I have
Yeah.
Underwoods. I have Royals. I have Smith Coronas.
Yeah.
I have Coronas.
I could sell
before
you them
they
all
do-
day. I can sell you more.
I don't need more. I have.
What?
I have
Yes,
all the
you do.
time. No, I don't. I'm trying to sell. You want me to
Yeah.
buy it? I'm going to wind up buying.
I'll sell too. Yeah, we can do
I did.
either.
I bought that one recently. I bought that out of London.
Whoa, yeah,
It
shipping was expensive.
The-
then on that.
actually, it was pretty reasonable, all
Okay,
things
cool.
considered. I got
Yeah.
but I spent. It's an Olympia Splendid '66. I think I ended up spending close to $300 on it before it was with shipping.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It was
I'll send
awesome.
you that link to that Olivetti because it's like really rare and cool.
And it's
a
a
red case.
It's a manual, or is it
don't know.
a electric?
It's not electric.
Not
There's no
electric.
plugs or anything on it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And working
I think so. Yeah.
working condition.
The
You know,
J's a little crooked.
Honestly, when we try and explore things, and when we sell something real expensive, we'll delve into whether it works. But we go into a house with like 10,000 items in it, and we have 2 weeks to get it done.
10,000 items.
You take pictures and you list it and you sell it and you answer people's questions as best as you can. But I get emails like, we're selling a Apple Lisa, which is a early Apple.
Oh, yeah.
It was named after his daughter in 1982, and it might bring $2,000 or $3,000. And people are asking me if it works or if the board is fried and all this stuff, and it's like, it's there's a lot of I don't even begin to know how to like diagnostic a 1982 Apple. So a lot of times it's just here it is, and buy it, and when you get it you can. I'm sorry, but I can't
Yeah.
sit there and like test the whole thing out.
So what happens with the stuff that's left over on these estate sales?
There isn't much left over. I mean, we have real high-end buyers, which when you have something really valuable, it's not hard to get rid of something like this. But we also have guys that drive out here from the country with like broken down pickup trucks and buy half-empty cans of paint and scrap metal, and they're so happy. So we have people that buy stuff that might appear to be trash to you and I. So a lot of it goes away. There's a whole economy of people that don't have regular jobs and things that just buy old refrigerators and scrap them and that kind of thing. So a lot of it's like the video of the animal in the forest decaying, and then even the bones get eaten at the end. Like that's how it is. And so what's left is we have a clean out service. I mean, we clean it out. We donate a lot, and we take it to the dump, which is a horrible place.
How do people get a hold of you? Burns Auction and Appraisal. I mean,
go to my website, burnsbid.com. My last name and the word bid, like bid in an auction.
Burnsbid.com.
Yeah, that's
That'll
the best way.
Best way to get anything you need to know. You came to me via a mutual friend of ours, John Osbeck.
Yes.
And then in the process, we found out that you recently did an estate sale for a dear friend of mine who just recently moved out of Columbus, my friend Gus Felicia.
I took care of him.
And he raved. He raved about your service.
That's great.
And what you did and how you did it. And it was just one of those
kind words.
It was one of those effortless. It just took one thing off his list,
Right.
Yeah.
of things to do. You know, you came in and took care of everything and sold a lot of his stuff.
We focus on the seller. You know, if you go to a lot of auction sites, for quick shameless plug, you know, you could talk all day about the expensive things you've sold, and that's cool and everything. But what people need is they're just overwhelmed. They lost a loved one, or they're moving to a new place and starting a new chapter, and it's like they're feeling stressed. So we just come in and take the anxiety away, and you know, then it becomes our anxiety, which is fine.
So you're in a way you're kind of the therapists.
Oh yeah,
in a way.
Yeah.
In an indirect way.
We have a lot of long, conversations about this stuff, which is fine.
You should write a book.
I will. Yeah. Right now I'm too busy selling stuff, but if I have
too
the
busy
time.
selling shit. Sit down and write. Even though I used to be a journalist.
Yeah,
I
would love to write more, and I want to do podcasting and things. It's just running a rapidly growing business is a real. It takes all of. And I also have a family.
I'll be honest with you. I am frightened to go to your site. I am scared to go to your
great.
site. I know it's so great, and it's probably so cool, and I have a little bit of an addictive personality.
Good.
No, not good. Not good. And I'm afraid I'll go there and I'll start seeing stuff that I gotta have that.
Yeah, it's so easy. Just click.
Yeah,
it just
click.
comes
and
through.
then, then you go back and somebody's outbid you, and then
you click again. Yeah.
Oh, just like that. Just click again.
And once the whiskey starts and stuff, then it's next thing you know, you've got all this stuff.
You wake up tomorrow morning hungover.
No.
You bought
I will not get
$5,000 typewriter.
No. Our guest has been Adrian Burns from Burns Auction and Appraisal. Fascinating stuff about that world in general, man. It really was. And thanks for you're going to take that Playboy with you and investigate.
Yeah, I'll figure it out more. I hope it's real.
What happened to the guest bottle?
Hope that crease doesn't screw you up there.
Yeah. It does, but it's okay. It's
the guest bottle has been. We broke something old out for Adrian's guest appearance here. The Angel's Heavy Cask Strength from 2014.
It grew on me. I really did.
It grew on me, and it's grown in price. Like I said, $169 when it first came out, and now an unopened bottle goes for about $429. So the whiskey people talk about finding the right people to buy stuff.
You got that.
The whiskey buyers are crazy purchasers of stuff that they gotta have, and I'll never be one of those because I like to drink everything. Yeah. Well, I can't stand to see it stay on the shelf.
That's okay.
Forever and a day.
That's okay.
It's just the way I am. So, this old bar lamp right here. Right there.
That doesn't look like the original.
No, it's not the original. You know why it's not the original was from the 60s.
Yeah.
It's broken.
People care less about that now than ever. They just want it to look a certain way. They don't care
good.
if it's old or new.
You feel better now? Yeah.
It's still $25, $30.
There you go.
Either way.
It had sentimental value.
Well,
now it's got to be a better story.
The first face-to-face podcast we had again, like we're doing tonight.
Yeah.
We were so excited to be back here in the house and not doing it remotely. And I was talking to our guest after the podcast, and I hear this horrible crash behind me.
No.
And I just thought it was Hansberry, throwing something. This is another, mid-century. This is
that's cool.
One of the
penguins.
One of the old penguin. Yeah, it's the real deal.
Yeah, it's cool.
I thought he had
something.
clink something into that.
Chicka.
I heard a glass or something, a chicka. And I didn't turn my back. I just thought, it's whatever. He's back there doing something. I turn around, and the bar light the actual lampshade was just in pieces.
Well, yeah, it happens a lot with bar lights. They break a lot.
What are you going like? See, it happens a lot.
I'm
It happens
defending
a lot.
him indirectly. Yeah, well, we'll get you another one.
You can't be responsible for gravity.
Come on.
Yeah, he was worried because I didn't get mad.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's a
when I
bad
know-
sign.
yeah. I'm fine. Get out of my house.
I didn't get
Just
mad.
get even.
I didn't get mad. I didn't
Every
get
light
mad.
was broken at my home when I got
I
back.
got quiet, and that's worse.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, get out of Dodge.
My tires were flat.
Right, yeah, slash. Keys, car.
Yeah, but thank you, man.
Thank
This
you.
This has been a blast. This has been
Absolutely.
a lot of fun. And like I said, anybody that's looking to do the estate sale thing, Adrian would be the guy to call. And
Consultations are free.
even
Yeah, I just-
even better.
I love to see the stuff and meet people, so I always enjoy going out and looking, and then you can decide what you want to do. But I'll tell you what I know, and try and help you.
All right. So, Hansberry, some closing notes for as far as business before we go.
WhiskeyBusinessPod.com, everything whiskey business. If you're listening on your favorite podcasting app, thank you very much. Hit subscribe. Smash that subscribe button, bro. And look down and check out all the archived episodes that we have. We've got a lot of fun stuff. And please share with all your podcasting and whiskey-loving fools. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Oh yeah, that's right, YouTube. Well, you can watch this. Actually, tonight would be a great one to watch on YouTube because we had a lot of cool show and tell things.
Yeah, show and tell
Whiskey
visual things.
Business with Dino Tripodis on YouTube.
Check it all out.
Yep, and then we're going to be on part 2 of that Friends reunion coming up pretty soon.
No, we're not. My name is Dino Tripodis. I can't do this podcast without the incredible talents of Greg Hansberry on the audio side and the amazing John Whitney, who collects ashes from Mount St. Helens.
Yeah. The Ashman.
on the Ashman.
Like Kramer.
The Ashman.
Oh, man.
On the video side, John Whitney, of course. And as I mentioned at the top of the podcast, look for us soon to be joining the Evergreen podcast family as well. So we're excited about that. So until the next bottle, my friends, I'm Dino Tripodis. See ya.